Hi, viewers. Welcome to another edition of Marriage Clinic Live. How are you today? I remain your host, Marla Hanoputi. Thank you so much for always joining us on this edition of Marriage Clinic Live. I would like to celebrate all our new joiners, all our returning subscribers, our new subscribers as well, all our followers on our Facebook group page, Marriage Clinic, and on our YouTube channel, Marriage Clinic TV. Thank you to every one of you for always joining us and following us. So today I'm going to be looking at an interesting topic. Why are women leaving their men and marriage? Why are women leaving their men and married? Now, before now, it used to be a taboo for a woman to think of leaving her married. I mean, she can't even think about leaving, not to talk of implementing that thought of living. Today we see many more women easily leaving their marriages, and you keep wondering what is happening, what is going on. So today we want to look at why are women leaving their husbands, leaving their men and their marriages more than ever before. I know that recently we've been hearing all sorts in the news. A lot has been happening, and the awareness is becoming increasing that, well, you shouldn't stay in abusive marriages, you shouldn't stay in an abusive relationship. But I noticed that it is not only women who are in abusive relationship that are leaving their marriages. It's not only women who are being abused that are leaving. So why are these women leaving, despite the fact that it's not all of them that are being abused? Now, the very first reason is lack of emotional connection. Lack of emotional connection. Now, women generally are emotional beings, and women want to be emotionally connected to whoever they are going to be giving their heart, their body, or their lives to. They want to feel emotionally connected, to their partner. And whenever they see that emotional connection is not there, there is a vacuum. There is a vacuum. And she knows that even though I'm in a relationship or I'm in a marriage with someone, I can't feel the impact of this person. I can't feel that I'm in a marriage or I'm in a relationship. Now, when there is no emotional connection, when you can't feel him emotionally, then these women tend to believe that, well, maybe it's not meant for me, or we are not meant to be. And before you know it, they quit and they break up with such men and they leave the marriage. Now, another reason is for economic reasons. Now, quite a number of women believe or have been told that when they get married, the man will take care of all, their the man will take care of all their needs. As a matter of fact, they don't need to work, they don't need to really do anything, like that, to make money. That the man will be there, to fend for all their financial needs. Now, these women take this mindset into the marriage. They go into the marriage believing that all their financial needs will be met. As a matter of fact, some of these women see going into marriage or getting married as a poverty alleviation program. They believe that, oh, once I get married, so I'm sorry about that. My baby is trying to join me on the program. So, as a matter of fact, some of them believe that once they get married, all their financial needs will be met and that of their family members. But this is not usually the case, because um Mama is online. You guys are distracting me today. Go and sit down. No. This is not usually the case, because these men are also equally struggling. Some of them are still trying to find their foot, you know. Some of them are still trying to find their foot, and many of them cannot take care of themselves financially, talk less of adding another full-grown adult responsibility to themselves. So they believe that, well, if you as the woman is looking for someone to take up your financial responsibility, that then you yourself should show some level of financial responsibility as an adult woman. But some women don't see things like that. They believe that, oh, once he marries me, he should take care of all my needs. All my needs should be met by him, forgetting that the man is not El Shaddai and the man is not God. And you yourself, the fact that you are a woman doesn't mean that you are disabled or you have become handicapped. And the fact that you are married does not mean you've become handicapped, that you cannot have your own financial independence or financial freedom. Many women don't believe in this. So when they go into the marriage with that expectation, that high expectation that, oh, all my needs will be met by this man, if those needs are not met, if those economic needs are not met, she will believe that, well, she's in this marriage to suffer, and as a result she has to leave. And that is why we see some of them, leaving the marriage. As a matter of fact, there used to be this adage that says that kò sí sùúrù lérè mọ́, that Ọlọ́run ṣògo is what many women are looking for. I'm sorry for those who don't understand with the dialect I've just spoken. We are trying to say that some women believe that there is no patient, that they don't want to go through long suffering anymore. They are looking for a man that they will get married to, and they themselves will break through so easily. But it wasn't like that in those days. In those days, our mothers were patient people. They were long suffering. They would keep at it. In fact, they didn't mind even they didn't mind if the man wasn't giving them anything, so long they had only food to eat. Our parents or our mothers were contented with just eating in their husband's house. But today's women, no, they want more than food. They don't want just food alone, because they will tell you that, if all I get or all I gain is to eat from this man, then I don't need a man, because I myself, I can afford to feed myself. Yes, because today some women can afford to feed self. Some women can afford to feed self. They can afford, to even clothe self, to do so many other things. So that is about that. Now, another reason again is that many women these days don't want a dormant partner. They don't want a dormant partner. They don't want a partner that is not actively involved in their home building, in their family, the family making. They don't want a dormant partner, a partner that is not there, is not responsible, or an absentee father. They don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want someone that they can't feel his or her impact, in the house. They don't want someone that they can't feel his or her impact in the house. So when that is the case, these women would say, what, I can no longer stay in this marriage. I can no longer stay in this marriage. I'm just going to leave. And before you know it, they pack their things and they leave. Now, another reason is that there is a drop in the level of there's a drop in the level of spirituality and morality these days. I mean, in those days we believe that God hates divorce. God hates divorce, which is true. God hates divorce. And with all these teachings, I think that to an extent we've given the men the liberty to now believe that, because God hates divorce, that these women will be scared to leave. So even when we are killing them at home, they will be forced to stay because they. So you see all these men behaving anyhow, doing things that they are not supposed to do to these women. And in those days, the women will stay there. Some don't mind dying in the marriage. Some died to pregnancy. Some died to domestic violence. Nobody heard about it. But today is the age of social media. before you slap a woman, you should think twice, because social media will carry it, and they will they will expose you. They will expose you and make the world know that you did this to a woman. So the times are changing. Things are no longer the same as it used to be in those days, when there was no social media, there was no technology, nothing like that that makes news to go around very fast. So these women were just there enduring in their marriages. Some were treated like slaves, but they didn't mind, even if they were not emotionally connected to their husband. The women of those days were still expected to submit themselves to him. Whether they feel the urge for sex or not, they were expected to submit themselves to him, and just have the feeling for sex, whichever way. It's not like today that they will be saying, oh, you have to put her in the mood and all of that. The men of those days, they didn't have the time for that. So a lot is changing, and if we look at it critically, I think that today's today's marriage, or today's family setting or home building, calls for being sensitive to one another, calls for being involved, actively involved in your home, in your marriage. Because if you are not actively involved, I'm telling you, you would have lost that your partner unknowingly. Because some of us will just assume that, oh, I know him, I know her, not knowing that you don't even know this partner very well. You don't even know him, you don't even know her. Why? Because you are not actively involved. You are not there. You are like a dormant partner. You just have the certificate, we are married. You just have that name, Mr. and Mrs. But the substance, the essence of the marriage is not there. You guys just have the form of being married, but that's what marriage produces, or what you should enjoy as a result of being married, is not there. So these are part of the reason some of these women leave, and actually some other women leave because of the abuse and the oppression they go through in their marriages. Now, I mean, in those days when the women were being abused, nobody heard about it. As a matter of fact, a woman would be abused, by her husband in those days. She will run to her parent, and the parent will send her back to her husband's house to say, you have to go back there. You have to go back to your husband's house. Nobody must hear that, you left your husband's house. But it's no more like that today. Your parent will gladly welcome you back and say, they are beating you there. No, before I lose a child, please come back home. And you will see, these children would home, and the parent will also gladly receive them. Now, like I said earlier, that these days there is a drop in the level of spirituality and morality, and in those days, whenever people had challenges or issues in their marriage, the usual advice is, oh, pray for him, pray for him, pray for him. You need to pray and fast for him. As a matter of fact, some women will go on dry fasting, praying for the man. This man must change. Go into the war and pray for him. But the kind of women we have these days, they are very impatient. They don't want to hear that pray for him anymore. Or even if they want to hear that, they believe that no, this man is an adult. I don't have the time to be babysitting an adult. And they expect that the man should be straight, that they are not the one that should come and fix him. The man should have been fixed before they got married to him. But it's not usually like that, because at times these men come with their baggages, and these men also expect that it's the woman that will come to fix them and fix these baggages for them. But the women are also saying, you know what, I'm impatient. I don't have the time to be fixing a grown-up man, a man in his 40s, a man in his late 30s, a man in his 50s. No. I've got no time for that. Now, that is what some of them would say. So some don't believe in praying and praying for a man to change, praying for many years, because they've seen that the fundamental issue is not, for some men, they've seen that the fundamental issue is not a change of heart per se, but poor upbringing. Because there are times prayer cannot correct poor upbringing. What will correct poor upbringing is for the man himself, to begin to move with maybe those with high moral standard that can help him to see the things differently, for the man to start to amend his ways, to have a renewal of mind, and to start changing his ways. But if that is not happening, and you're saying you are praying, I mean, that upbringing is already in him, is what he grew up with. So for you to take it out of him, it will be very hard, unless God steps in and there is an hard knock of life that comes on such a man, and the man will be like, you know what, this is the time for me to turn a new leaf, or for me to change. Otherwise, I might lose my life to this stubbornness. So I think that those are part of the reasons why women are fast leaving their men. Another reason is the wrong mindset or wrong notion about marriage. So many people go into marriage with very high expectation, and people just assume that, oh, only love will make marriage work. The picture we have of marriage is, oh, I was swept off my feet, I fell in love, and that is it. And that love is like a feeling, and that feeling is what will carry me through the marriage. No, that is not marriage. See, that love will fizzle out when the true challenges of life start to come to you. And that is why this is your cup, habit. Now, that is why you can't base it on just that feeling of love alone. You must understand the responsibilities, the commitment that comes with getting married. You must understand that work is entailed in building a home, in building a successful marriage. That work is entailed. It's not something you can pick up off the shelf. It's not something you can go buy and say, oh, I'm just going to buy an already built home, or I'm just going to go buy off the shelf a successful home. No, it's something you have to make happen, you and your partner. Now, when the expectations or the notion about marriage is wrong, I tell you, people will go in there when they don't find fulfillment. They quickly want to opt out because they feel like there's no fulfillment there. Then another thing is roles change. Now we know that before now, so, some people mindset, or some men's mindset, is that, oh, the place of the woman is in the kitchen, and our place is in the other room. Our place is to be at home raising the kids. As a matter of fact, in those days, women raised their kids all alone. The men were not there. The men were busy at work or in farm. And these men believed that the way they could show their dedication or commitment to their family was for them to go out there and work for long hours, work around the clock. They were really not at home, to be there for the children, to raise the children together with the women. That was the trend or the norm in those days. But these days, the woman feels that if the man is not there, then there is no point claiming that I'm married to him. They want a man that is present in the life of their children. They don't want an absentee father. They don't want an absentee husband. They don't want a dormant husband. They want a husband that is responsible, that is committed. So when they don't find that in the man, they tend to give up on the marriage or on the relationship, and they break it up. Now, another reason is poor communication. Someone once said that marriage is 80% communication, 80% communication, and maybe 20% sex or something like that. Now, that 80% communication is true, because see, these are two people from two different backgrounds. You were raised differently, and you both are coming with a particular mindset. So it will take a lot of communication for you to understand what the other person is thinking, for you to understand what the other person wants, You don't just go in there assuming or keeping quiet. You can only understand him by communicating with him. You can only understand her by communicating with her. Everything is not fight. Everything is not getting angry over. There are things that communication can help you resolve. If you are not clear about something, communicate, communicate, communicate. In those days, women didn't have a say. You can't communicate with your husband. It's what your husband says that stands. Is whatever he says that is a final. He takes all the decision alone. But today, because of all the changes we are experiencing in the world, you need to carry along your woman. And if she feels that she's not being carried along, or the communication is not open, the communication lines are not open, she feels there is a disconnect, and before you know it, she will start listening to maybe other people outside. Before you know it, you guys will start drifting apart. If there is no communication, you start drifting apart, and before we know it, the marriage may fall apart. Now, lastly, another reason why women are leaving their marriages is poor conflict resolution. Poor conflict resolution. The things that we can resolve amicably by sitting down and talking about it. You throw tantrums, you go reporting to his father, to his mother, calling him names, calling her names, to his parents. Now, when you start doing that, involving in-laws, making everything look messy, saying words that you are not supposed to say, I tell you, you would have succeeded in creating cracks in that relationship or in that marriage. When you just throw caution to the wind whenever you are hungry or there is a conflict, rather than you calming down, putting your emotions under control and telling yourself that just be calm, this issue will be resolved. And it will be resolved if both of you talk about it. Look for a good time to talk about it, rather than throwing caution to the wind, just talking, calling him names, calling her names, bringing out a sharp object, or I'm going to kill someone today. Now, when you start doing things like that, I tell you, a normal, sane human being will be like, what? If this is married, I'm going to just pack my things and run away. By then, they won't be thinking of the scripture verse that says God hates divorce, or they won't be thinking of the fact that society will frown at them being divorced. No. Their instinct, their survival instinct will tell them that, no, safety first. You need to live and save your life first. Safety first. Now, that is why some of them, when all these things happen, they take off. These women take off, they leave. At any slight provocation, they leave. Now, it is not all marital challenges that warrant you leaving your marriage or you taking off. No, there are some that if you stay there and you are patient enough and you are long suffering like our parents were, I tell you, you will still enjoy that marriage. It was on this same show that I once shared with us, a woman that said she suffered with her husband for 35 years before she started enjoying now. And I mean real enjoyment now. Now, the thing is, for you that have a man that is pulling his weight, that is doing all to keep his home, is being involved, is helping you out with the chores, then you need to meet such a man halfway. You need to reciprocate his kind gesture. If you have a man or a husband that is helping you with chores, then I think that such a man should be, I won't say worshipped, but such a man, you should value him. You shouldn't just let him go. You should cherish such a man, treat him well, and not say, oh, he's doing all the chores for me, so I will stop cooking as a woman and he will do all the cooking. As a matter of fact, I understand that some women don't cook at all. They don't cook at all. They are waiting for the man to maybe take them out to eat, or the man should come back and cook. And I'm wondering, when did women turn to this? As a woman, you should know how to cook. You should know how to keep your home. Like I said the last time, that home running, your home making is part of making your marriage work. Now, we are not saying the woman should do everything alone. We are saying that these days, men are also helping out with chores. They are actively involved in the lives of their children. When you have this kind of a man, even if he does not have all the money in the world, please stay there with him, hang in there with him. It's only a matter of time. If the man is not lazy, if he's not laid back, if he's not the type that is gambling with his money or gambling with the family resources, stay in there. It's just a matter of time. He will make it, he will break through. And when that happens, you will be glad that you went through that stage or that phase with him together. But if you have gone, if you run away, I tell you, God sees the heart of everyone. God has a way, of repaying everyone according to their deeds. So don't think, oh, I can just walk out of that marriage, I can just leave that man for no reason. See, if you just leave for no reason, God has a way of punishing such people that do injustice to faithful men or faithful women. If your husband is faithful to you, if the man is pulling his way, is trying his best, but you feel that, oh, you are impatient, oh, I've seen a sugar daddy that can take care of me, and you run off, you abandon that man and run off. See, it's only a matter of time. God is the ultimate joy. He knows how to deal with people like that. And at the end of the day, you will end up regretting that you left such a man. But if your case is a genuine case, and even God knows that if you had not left that man, maybe your life would have gone for it. Then those kind of people, God has a way of giving them a second chance in life, and they will still go through life, maybe meeting someone else, becoming happy again. Marriage is not the end of the world, and marriage is not oxygen. So I would like to stop here now because my baby is really trying to get at my attention, so I need to stop now. So these are the reasons. We can all work on these reasons and ensure that it's not everything that happens in marriage that the first thing we think about is to say, oh, I want to leave, I want to leave, I want to leave. No, there are other ways for us to resolve conflict. And if we can, find out how both parties can resolve conflict and how we can communicate amicably, I tell you, your marriage will become peaceful and harmonious. I would like to stop here now. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to leave us a like, a comment. What do you think? Do you think there are other reasons why women leave? If there are other reasons, please leave a comment. Let us know in the comment section what the other reasons are. Till we meet again, I remain your host, Malai, and hope it's a nice day. Bye.